Thanks very much, Caitlin, for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining us today to talk about ANU scholarships. As you can see, my name is Sarah Bays, and I'm with the ANU Coursework Scholarships Office. So I'm just going to present to you today about how to apply. If we can go to the next slide, please. So this is a screenshot that may look familiar to some of you who've already done the application. Scholarships is the sixth step in the application process for admissions, scholarships, and accommodation at ANU. And it is very, very simple. It is a one-question stage. Simply, do you wish to apply for eligible scholarships? And you can pick yes or you can pick no. If you do pick no and you want to change your mind later, you can always log back into your application and make that change before the 25th of May when all of the ASA applications close. So no need to contact us. You can just log yourself back in and change yes to no or no to yes. So I just wanted to show how easy it is. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the scholarship process. So here I've got a slide telling you about how we select scholarships and the recipients to those awards. So we've got two terms, one is eligibility and one is selection. Both of those are quite similar, but there are some differences. So eligibility simply says it's a yes or no question, like yes, you are eligible and we will look at you for this scholarship, or no. So for example, if it's a scholarship for women in engineering, you have to meet both of those criteria in order to be considered and in order to be eligible for that award. Now, selection is where you get into more details about the basis on which that award is made. So here's a list of some criteria that are used for either eligibility or selection or both. We've got academic merit. So in the early stages of your ASA application, that will be your ANU selection rank. We've also got a short list of some equity or access adjustment factors. We sometimes use the word equity, sometimes access. If you are familiar with UAC, you will be familiar with the phrase adjustment factors. So this might include things like financial hardship, or you either are schooled or live in a rural, regional, or remote area. Perhaps you are Indigenous. So those are some examples of some adjustment factors. There are some scholarships that are specifically for particular programs or for particular colleges. So that might also be an eligibility factor. And there is a very small number, I think the number might even be 1, that's related to being an elite athlete. So those are just some examples of eligibility and selection. I wanted to show you some examples of scholarships we have available at ANU. One of our big name scholarships is the Cambry Indigenous Undergraduate Scholarship. This is quite a large scholarship. It does encompass more than just money. It is run by our colleagues over at the Jabal Indigenous Center, and the value is up to $30,000 per year. Now, selection eligibility is of course Indigenous, but selection may be a range of factors, including financial hardship and regional status, and it doesn't matter what program you're studying. So Cambry is a very interesting one. I encourage you, if you are eligible, to keep an eye on the Cambry scholarship webpage, because I do think they're still finalizing how that scholarship will be applied for, or rather how you can apply for that scholarship. We've also got another pretty high name, high prestige award called the Australian Excellence Scholarship. That's $12,500 per year. Selection is on the basis of academic merit, but may also include adjustment factors. And again, that's open to any discipline, any program of study. And I've got another couple of examples on the next page. We've got the Love Scholarship. So that value is $50,000 over 5 years. However, the first year value is different to the second, third, fourth. Each year has a different value. So that's why we say $50,000 over 5 years. And that's academic merit. And again, adjustment factors open to all disciplines. And finally, we've got the ANU Changing Futures. So this is $8,000 a year and a range of adjustment factors. We've got another quite a number of scholarships available through ASA. This is just a small number of them. We do have others that are more related to perhaps gender and underrepresented areas, or academic merit within a college or a program. So please look at the ANU Scholarships website for more information. And I wanted to talk a little bit about those offers that will be going out. So any scholarship offers that are made in August will be honored. There's only two conditions you really have to meet. One is that you do need to complete your year 12. You do need to get an ATAR. And if you receive a scholarship that is directly related to a program of study, you need to receive an offer to that program of study. So for example, if in August you receive an offer to mathematics, Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences, in December, that needs to be your highest preference in your list of preferences, and that means that you will get that scholarship again. Because if you smash your ATAR, you get a really good score and you actually get a higher preference that doesn't include mathematical sciences, it means you'll lose that scholarship because it is to support students in mathematical sciences. And just a final note about offers. We do a huge number of offers made in August, and we confirm those offers in December if you do accept your August offer. And there will be an additional number of scholarship offers made in December because those ones are based on final ATARs. Our flagship scholarship, the National University Scholarship, that's one where you need to score a 99.9 final ATAR, and that's one of the ones that we release in December because we just can't release an offer any earlier. So that was my spiel about scholarships. Sarah, did you want to take on Tuckwell, or did you want me to present about that? Sure. So we do have some changes to the Tuckwell. The biggest first change is that our office, the Coursework Scholarships Office, is taking over the application process for Tuckwell. And particularly in the early stages. As the Tuckwell progresses, our involvement in it will lessen. So I'm going to talk more about the stage 1 because that's where we're at right now. So the big thing is that stage 1 has fewer kind of long answer questions. And we just want to know more about what you have been doing and achieving in years 10, 11, and 12. Those longer questions have now been moved to stage 2. So stage 1 is a lot simpler. The other thing I really want to highlight is that you need to complete your ASA application by April 14th. And that's so that you can get the link to the Tuckwell application. So the Tuckwell application actually closes earlier than the ASA application closing date. So you need to be very careful to make sure that that's finished. Your ASA application has been submitted by the 14th of April. You also must select a residence option, and that is not something that you can change later. So if you're interested in the Tuckwell, you do need to make sure that you're selecting on-campus accommodation. If you don't select on-campus accommodation, that's something that's really can't be changed. However, our on-campus community is really great. It's really inclusive. You're going to be right in the heart of the university, and you'll meet a lot of great people on campus. So it is a really great thing to be involved in. Now, stages 2 and 3, they do remain very similar. So there'll be an interview of 75 candidates, probably in July, hopefully on campus, but we'll see what happens around the country. So that's for that slide. Moving on to the next slide. So in Tuckwell stage 1, we do have 30 questions. And there's one free text question, and that question is a maximum of 300 words that you can submit. So we really strongly recommend that you get your thoughts down on paper, you draft something in a Word document. When you're sure it's perfect, you've checked the spelling, you feel confident in what you've expressed in your writing, then copy it over into the Tuckwell application. Now, most questions are going to ask for your highest level of achievement, but there are also text boxes where you can tell us about other experiences as well. So perhaps you might play state level cricket, but you also play netball for the school team. So you can tell us about both, but we do recommend you use the select option for the higher state level sport and the text box option for the school level team sport. So there's a range of questions that we're asking about, your personal questions, contextual questions more about the way that you study or how long it takes you to travel to school, things like that. And then academic and as I mentioned before, activity questions. So the real aim of the Tuckwell application process is to target and identify candidates that have a broad range of experience. So it's okay for some categories, you might actually have no experience, and that's okay too. There is a real focus on a breadth of experience as well as the depth of your achievements. So on to the next slide, if we could. Now, the Tuckwell references. This is different from last year. So this year we're not requesting teacher references. So there is probably a collective sigh of relief around the country from teachers in secondary schools because we won't be collecting teacher references. Head of year reference, that will be requested, but only for those who are long listed in stage 1. So that means not everybody will have to submit this. But you might want to just let them know that you've already applied, just so that you're on their radar. Requests for the head of year reference will go out on the 23rd of April. The principal reference, that belongs to stage 2. So those will be asked only for people who are progressing to stage 2. So that request might come out somewhere between the 7th and the 21st of May. So it's not required for stage 1 applicants. And we've got a beautiful graphic about the Tuckwell application timeline. So the biggest highlight for today is that you do need to submit your ASA application by the 14th of April. When you do that, you will be contacted by email with a unique link to a Tuckwell application form. So the ASA, you submit, and then a day or two later, it might actually be 2 days, and please forgive us if a weekend occurs, because it might be the Monday or the Tuesday of the following week before you get your link to the Tuckwell application. So we are currently in open application season, so get in there, draft your answers, think about all of your accomplishments and achievements that you can share with us, and make sure that you get your ASA application submitted by the 14th of April. Tuckwell applications close a little bit later. Head of year reference requests go out on the 23rd of April. Feedback is due in 1 week. So that is definitely something you want to talk to your head of year about. And then 7th of May is when stage 2 really kicks off. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about today with scholarships at ANU and a highlight on Tuckwell.